I undervaluing Carlos Vargas? We've got an injury on the Astros and some LB news to cover as well in this episode of Mariners Daily. Hi, everyone. My name is Sam Edwards, the host here for this Daily Mariners show. If you like Daily Mariners content, freaking subscribe. Let's get into it, baby. First part is me responding to a couple comments I had on yesterday's episode. Now, once again, I've always said that this show is a conversation, and I want to hear what you guys have to say between me and you. This is a conversation, okay? First comment, and one that kind of sparked this. I talked about Master Boney yesterday. I talked about Casey uh, Legomina, and he's an interesting reliever that could, sneak into the back end of our bullpen, but probably not. But I've always been a guy that has been against Carlos Vargas. I was talking about the back end of the bullpen yesterday. I would recommend going to listen to the episode if you haven't already. And Kyle Lowe, Mariners World Series 26, my man, commented and said, "Wow, you are undervaluing Vargas a lot. He led the league in innings last year and had a sub 4 ERA. He gets a little wild sometimes, but has absolutely filthy stuff. There is a 0% chance he doesn't make the roster, and I would honestly bet he takes another step forward and becomes a legit high leverage option." Wow. That's a big thing to say, Kyle. Let's calm down a little bit, just a little bit. He goes on to say that Master Boney won't make the roster, which I totally understand. That Leo Rivas is better in every facet of the game, and most importantly, is a switch hitter. Totally get that. And I agree with the Rivas section of his comment. He also talks about Chris Wells, saying that he'll probably make the roster, which I think so too, just because of Hancock not having the options, which is what Scott Dobson as well has talked about. Um, he's yeah, kind of been on the feel bad for Emerson Hancock train just because he's got an option still, a minor league option. And Criswell doesn't. So it makes a lot more sense for Criswell to make the MLB roster off the rip. So that makes sense. But yeah, I wanted to, and then even Scott Dobson says that he sees no competition for Vargas. So I feel like this is kind of something that I need to cover here. Am I undervaluing Carlos Vargas, and is he actually a better player than maybe I'm giving him credit for? And then if he is a better player, is he going to improve this coming season? Or am I correct? And is he going to either stay the same or decline? Let's get into Vargas. He's 26 years old, so let's take a moment here. He's 26. He's not 30. He's not 33. He's not 35. So it's like he's young. He is still young. So there's always that optimism that twinkle in his eye where you're like, oh, maybe he could be, maybe he could turn into something amazing. He pitched 77 innings. So, just to be clear, he did not lead the league in innings. I mean, Edward Bizardo pitched more innings than Vargas did. So I don't know where Kyle's getting the led the league part, but maybe it just sounded good and decided to throw it in the comment. Whatever. No shame. But yeah, 77 innings. A lot of innings. Didn't lead the league, but very good amount of innings. Pitched a lot. 16.3 K percentage, not fantastic. 6.9 walk percentage, not that bad. 1.17 home runs per nine. It was a 300 BABIP, a 74.2 left on base percentage, 56.1 ground ball percentage. That's a key stat for Vargas and one that we're going to come back to. 14.9 home run per fly ball percentage. That's another important one that we will come back to. 3.97 ERA, like Kyle says, it was under 4, which is true. 4.59 fifth. That's where the squint begins for me. And then he had the worst FWAR out of any Mariners pitcher this past season. Negative 0.6 FWAR on the season. I'm not the guy to follow FWAR for relievers or really for pitchers, period. It feels more like a positional player stat in my opinion, F4. But I thought that was worth noting that they had him as the lowest. Yeah, providing the least amount of value, negative value, in fact. He does limit hard contact. I know you're thinking about the K percentage. I know you heard me say 16.3 and you were like, well, what the heck then? Like what else does he do? He limits hard contact. He gets ground balls. He does do both of those things. And those are quality aspects of a starting pitcher. An 88.6 exit velocity this past season, a 4.9 barrel percentage, and a 35.2 hard hit percentage. Those are all great numbers, great stats. He's in the upper echelon for sure, limiting hard contact, which I was not expecting. I did not think that he limited hard contact that well. Now, just to give a little bit more context for how he is as a player, we're going to rewind the clock to when he joined the Mariners in 2024, and he played in AAA for the whole season, pretty much, besides a little bit, I think, in AA. AAA stats: 53 and a third innings pitched, a 17.1 K percentage, 7.7 walk percentage, 1.01 home runs per nine, 311 BABIP, a 70.8 left on base percentage, a 54.6 ground ball percentage, and a 15.4 home run per fly ball percentage, 3.54 ERA, and a 4.9 FIP. So is he just a guy that defies you know, defies his FIP. Is that what it is? And I think he does. I think the way he pitches specifically does make him overperform his, underlying metrics. Let's say the FIP, for instance, this past year, 3.97 ERA, 4.59 FIP. In AAA in 2024, 3.54 ERA, 4.98 FIP. He might just kind of be that guy. And I think he kind of has that arsenal that maybe allows this to happen. He's a weird pitcher, and I don't know if I fully understand him necessarily. Let's get into it. The sinker, the slider, the cutter. Three main pitches for Vargas. Throws the sinker by far the most. Throws it 63% of the time. Throws it very fast at 97.6 miles an hour. Gets a good amount of swings out of the zone on the sinker. It's a 31.8 O swing percentage. The average for the MLB reliever on a sinker is a 25.5 O swing on a sinker. So that's that's great. And honestly, I think that right there paints the picture for why the ground ball percentage is as good as it is. And if you think about it, pitch looks like it's starting in the zone at the bottom of the zone, drops right out, guy swings over it, hits it on the ground, gets it out. Uh Now the sinker percentage sorry, the sinker percentage. The sinker also has a very good strike percentage as well, 68.4, which is nice. Not amazing, but it's nice. Not an amazing swinging strike, but it does get the called strikes, 21.6 there. That's a good pitch. And it does get more ground balls than your average sinker as well. Because I know you're thinking, well, yeah, obviously it's a sinker, it's going to get ground balls. Yes, I know. The average MLB reliever got a 55 ground ball percentage out of their sinker. Now, Vargas gets a 64 ground ball percentage out of his sinker, which is pretty freaking good. How did they hit against it? It's a 315 WOBA and a 313 expected WOBA. Those are not bad marks. Like, it's not an amazing pitch, but for a sinker that you throw 63% of the time, those are good marks, in my opinion. He throws a slider the next most, 17.4 use percentage. He throws it very hard, 90 miles an hour. It's a fine pitch. I don't know. It really doesn't move the needle a whole lot for me. In fact, it kind of underperforms in certain ways. Only a 59.7 strike percentage. You want to see that at least at 60 or higher. And if it's not at 60 or higher, then you better be getting swings and misses. And he doesn't get that many swings and misses. Comparatively, for like your average slider from a reliever, it's not that crazy. 14.7 swinging strike percentage is not bad, but it's about where you'd expect an average MLB reliever slider to be. And then it underperforms in the called strike category, 7.3 called strike percentage, whereas the average MLB reliever had a 14.3 called strike percentage on their slider, which was much higher than I expected. but it limits the contact. It does a 274 WOBA and a 241 expected WOBA. So good enough, I guess. I don't know, man. I don't know. Vargas is a weird pitcher, and like I said, I don't know if I fully understand what he's doing. He throws the cutter the next. That's his third pitch. He throws that about 14% of the time, throws it fairly fast, 94.8 miles an hour. It's a good enough pitch, I guess. And maybe it got a little unlucky this past season, actually. It had a 68.2 strike percentage, 55.9 ground ball percentage, which is crazy. That the average for a cutter, the average ground ball percentage for an MLB reliever's cutter was 39% this past year. His is 55%. Was not expecting that. Now, the reason I say it got a little unlucky was a 373 WOBA, but a 293 expected WOBA. But then it has the highest exit velocity of all his pitches at 91.3. So, like, did it get lucky or did it not get, or did it perform the way we expect it to perform? It's it's a weird one. It's a weird one, man. And the ground ball percentage on the cutter is great to see as well. But it it makes you think, with all of these ground balls and limiting hard contact, overall it's an 88.6 exit velocity, 4.9 barrel percentage versus, with Vargas, with limiting hard contact. Why is the home run per fly ball percentage this high? 14.9 home run per fly ball percentage. And this is one of those stat lines that I feel like I'm just not smart enough to really analyze. And maybe this is me like realizing my limits. And if you guys have any insight on what I'm missing here, I would love to hear it because my gosh, I don't know what's going on. 14.9 home run per fly ball percentage while he limits hard contact and gets a lot of ground balls. Is it just because he doesn't give up a whole lot of fly balls? Because he's giving up so many ground balls that when he does give up a fly ball, that it's more likely to go further because they're really getting a hold of it. That's the only thing that makes sense to me right now. I really don't know. He does seem like a guy that could defy the FIP, which FIP, if you don't know, generally analyzes strikeouts and home runs and walks. And those are like really the main three aspects that FIP hones in on. And all of those things Vargas isn't great at. He does not get a lot of strikes. Sorry, he doesn't get a lot of strikeouts. He doesn't have like an amazing walk percentage or anything to like counteract it. And he gives up some home runs, 1.17 home run per nine. So like he's a weird pitcher, man. He's a weird pitcher. I'm going to respectfully disagree with Kyle Lowe, who said that he thinks he's going to be he was willing to bet. Yeah, there's a 0% chance he doesn't make the roster, which I agree. I think Vargas is definitely making the roster, which I think Vargas is one of the biggest reasons why. Well, I don't know if Vargas is necessarily because I don't even think he's at the bottom of the totem pole for the bullpen. But I think the fact that he's not at the bottom of the totem pole was one of the biggest reasons why I was big proponent for going to get another reliever. I thought we needed another guy to just deepen our, our bullpen a little bit, which Scott Dobson did fill in and say, right now the pen, well, first he just clarifies right now the pen is Munoz, Brash, Bizardo, Ferrer, Spire. That leaves three spots. One is Criswell. I don't see much competition for Vargas. Whoever gets that last spot is not going to scare anyone at this point. It seems really likely there will be a move made at the back end of the pen when teams start paring down rosters, which I definitely agree. I think either it could be like a Cole Wilcox, like Kyle Lowe mentions in his comment. I think Wilcock could definitely get that last spot, but I feel like with the way Vargas is, he just kind of scares me in a way. And you could kind of compare him to Ferrer, I guess. I guess they're similar, power sinkers, kind of over, but like Ferrer's better. I don't know. I don't know about Vargas, man. He is 26, so like I guess theoretically he could get better, and he's got that power sinker throwing high 90s. And he gets the ground balls that he needs to. He also has that cutter he can lean on that also gets crazy ground balls as well. And maybe the WOBA on the cutter comes down to what the expected WOBA was, and maybe that causes him to improve. But it's really hard for me to say that. I don't believe it. I just don't really believe everything that was put together with this season. And honestly, still not a fan. Still not a fan of Carlos Vargas. That's just my opinion right now. He gives up a lot of contact, which I think we just need a better infield. We need Cole Young or Emerson to really help us defensively. That's what we need. To have a guy, two guys like Vargas and like Ferrer with super high ground ball percentages, you need a better infield, honestly. And JP Crawford at shortstop is like it's a big goose egg for us right now. Okay, I may have spent too much time on Carlos Vargas. That's okay. That's why you're here. Yeah, let me know if I should have sped that up or something. If I should have breezed past. I was just so dumbfounded. These stats are just, I don't know, they're interesting. Astros injury, we've got Jeremy Pena diagnosed with a finger fracture. He has been shut down for 2 weeks. Now, listen, this is not the end of the world. Um, Shut down for 2 weeks. I mean, he might miss a week of the MLB season, if anything. Like, it's probably not going to be that bad. Pena is the Astros' best player as of right now, or should I say, had the best season this past year. Over 500 plate appearances, 17 home runs, 20 stolen bases. He hit over 300 with a 363 on base, a 477 slugging. That's a 135 runs created plus 5.7 F WAR. Pena's a very good player, and the Astros have had kind of a infield logjam as of lately, and everybody was expecting them to trade somebody like Isaac Paredes, but they didn't. And now it might be paying off a little bit because now Pena might miss some time. Whew. So I guess they're happy about that. As of right now, they have Christian Walker at first base. They've got Jose Altuve at second base. They had Pena at short, and they've got Correa at third. But obviously, that leaves out Isaac Paredes, who can play third base. So I would think realistically, if Pena does miss time, you would start Paredes at third and move Correa to short, as he has experience there. You've also got Jordan Alvarez, who can play left field, but also will be designated hitter probably most days, which kind of limits their logjam as well. So it's not like they can just throw Paredes at DH most of the time because you'd probably have Jordan there. But if Pena does, stay out longer than, you know, this time, I mean, this season is coming up, man. We've got like 3 weeks. Crazy, freaking crazy. So we shall see with Jeremy Pena. Now, listen, I'm not rooting for his demise in any way. Would I like it to be a little bit easier of a path to winning this division for the Mariners? Absolutely. Do I hope that the Astros lose a lot of games this year? Absolutely. But I would rather beat them when they're at their best than just, get lucky with injuries and things like that. Because if they beat us just because of our injuries, then I'm happy about it. It just doesn't feel fair. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with Jeremy Pena. Finally, we got some LB news. Hunter Green is undergoing an MRI on his right elbow. That's not what you want to hear. Green himself said that the injury dates back to late last season. He was recommended for an injection at the time and had a normal offseason, but tells the Reds beat writer that the discomfort has crept back up recently. That's not great. Hunter Green is one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball, so obviously I hope he gets healthy soon. Finally, the Rangers have signed a minor league deal with Andrew McCutchen. The man leaves the Pittsburgh Pirates, which is a bummer. I kind of wanted him to end his career with the Pirates, but the Pirates apparently were not that interested. I'm surprised it's the Rangers, and I'm surprised it's not the Atlanta Braves, personally. The Braves just dealing with the suspension of Jurickson Profar. I thought Andrew McCutchen would fit perfectly in left field for them. Can he play defense? I don't know, actually. I don't know what his defense has looked like. It could be abysmal, and maybe that's why they didn't go for him, because maybe he's limited to like a DH duties. And even then, if he's a DH, then he's mainly like a lefty hitting DH. He still could play a lot. 551 plate appearances this past year, 13 home runs, 12.2 walk percentage, 21 K percentage. I don't know, but he only hit 239 with a 333 on base and a 367 slugging. That's a 95 runs career plus, but he was much better versus lefties, 743 OPS versus lefties. So we'll see. We'll see what McCutcheon can do. Maybe he makes it to the majors. Maybe he doesn't and hangs it up. Either way, I wish he was on the Pirates, honestly. And I will stand by. I'm surprised he didn't go to the Braves. I thought he made so much sense going to the Braves, and they just didn't do it because I thought they needed a guy that could platoon with Mike Yastrzemski in left field. But here we are. He signs with the Rangers, so I don't know. I don't know what his offers were. So he takes a minor league deal. We'll see what happens, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. Please give me your thoughts on Carlos Vargas. I wanna hear what you guys have to say. Would you rather have the Astros get injured and we get to beat them easily, or you'd rather beat them at their best? I think we want to beat them at their best, right? That's my opinion, anyways. I'll see you back next week. Have a great weekend. Bye.